Hello, Virgo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. Having a nice day here. It's been very sunny, but I think we're about to get those late afternoon storms, which I sometimes love because I spend a lot of time outside. Sometimes it's like, okay, that'll get me in doing some inside things. So anyway, this will be your weekly reading for July 13th through the 19th. And during that time, we will have a waning gibbous moon. We'll be coming off that full moon energy. So, a waning gibbous, of course, is a really good time for self reflection, rebirth, a good time to make positive changes and just kind of get rid of bad habits and negative thinking. We will then move into the last quarter moon on the 18th or the 19th, kind of depending on where you are. And that's a really good time for reflection, releasing what no longer serves us, and just getting ready for the next cycle to begin, kind of evaluating and taking responsibility for things that we've done in the current cycle. So please keep those moon energies in mind, Virgo, as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Virgo. So, of course, please take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: you're very close to achieving your goal. All right, Virgo, let's see what you guys have going on for the week. And my weekly reminder this week, Virgo, is that you take time to meditate this week. It's a really good week to try it. If it's not something that you normally do, take a little time to meditate. Just get very quiet and still, go within and just explore what's in your mind there. If this is something that you already do, you know what I'm talking about. If meditation is not something that you practice daily, it's just a really good time right now with that waning gibbous energy to start. So even if it's just a few minutes a day, try to start working that into your daily routine. And of course, if you need help, there's lots of guided meditation on YouTube. I know sometimes I need extra help, so I use that. I put on some headphones and use a guided meditation. And there's plenty of different kinds. So depending on what you're working on right now, there's different, if you want to do like a past life meditation, or if you just need rest and rejuvenation, or there's just so many different kinds of meditations out there. So whatever you happen to be working on, it's just a good practice to work meditation into that. All right, I will stop rambling about that right now, Virgo. Let's get into this reading. Virgo, July 13 through 19, you're very close to achieving your goal. Let's see what you guys have going on. The Moon card. So, and maybe your goal is to maybe expand your intuition. The Moon card is a card of mystery. It's a card of things kind of being undercover of the night. This could be paying attention to your dreams. I was talking about meditation. You may want to do like a little dream journal, but do meditations about your dreams, where you just quiet down and think about the dream that you had last night, or those weird symbolisms. I keep a dream journal, especially. I don't journal every single morning, but if I have like a really crazy out there dream, I do take the time to write that down, because it doesn't always make sense the day that the morning that you wake up, or the day that you're having those thoughts. But write all those things down, because there may come a time in the future where something happens and you're like, wait a minute, I had a dream about, and that's when it's a really good time to be able to go back and look at that. But anyway, your current energy is about like intuition, dreaming, those paths of mystery, synchronicities, things that are happening around you that don't seem super, super clear. They're kind of under the cover of the night, but that will become clearer as time goes along. So your current situation is the Strength card here. So, this is some sort of inner strength that you are having to call upon, but you've got that as a skill set for yourself. This is about, not only strength of mind, but strength of body as well. So that's your current situation, is maybe that's being a little bit tested right now. At the root of your situation is that you're moving towards the future here and thinking about new things that you want to think of, new ways that you want to communicate and be in the world. So, but you're doing this through very, very calm waters, and just moving forward. So lots of, maybe ideas and new things on the horizon, which is great. I love that for you. That's a great energy. In your recent past is the Chariot. So it looks like, you're on the move here. The Chariot card is about getting ready to make a move. And so that was in your recent past. It looks like whatever you're doing here, you're definitely acting upon some intuitive thought, and it's things that are, you've maybe had some sort of awakening. I'm even feeling that some sort of awakening in your recent past has brought you to think, oh, okay, I'm stronger than I think I am. And that's maybe being a little bit tested, but you're learning how to use your intuition and maybe the strength of that intuition and really trusting. But it's moving you towards new thoughts and kind of a new way of being, a new evolvement here, which is awesome. What is on your mind this week is the Six of Pentacles. So, I always ask whoever I'm reading for, what's happening in this card? And I will ask you the same, what is happening in this card? And some of you will say this person is giving, and some of you will say these people are receiving. And whichever way that came to you right then, I feel like that's kind of your energy. That's where you are right now. Are you giving or are you receiving? Both of which can be easy or difficult depending on who you are. If you're a Virgo, it's probably way harder for you to receive than it is to give. So I know about that Virgo energy, right? So ask yourself that, because you're in one of those positions. And if you're in a receiving position, maybe it's time to just take a breath and allow yourself to be in that receiving position. That's very hard for someone to do. It's very hard for a Virgo to do, harder than usual. For a few of the signs would be way more difficult there. But if you're in a giving position, please do so freely. And what do they say? In secret as well. All right. What is just ahead of you is the sun. So, look at all these yellow cards in the middle. I love, the chariot with the brightness and the strength card and the sun. There's a lot of light happening here. And your overall energy card was you're very close to achieving your goal. So some of you may have set, excuse me, some sort of goal here that you wanted to make movement on. And maybe it had something to do with your intuition, with, using those thoughts as you move forward to get just to a happier place, to get yourself settled inside, to a place where you're just feeling more positive and more, covered in light. So it looks like you're doing that. And I love that. In your advice position here is the Queen of Swords. So, you're going to do this and be very clear and understanding of, intellect and logic, but also very clear in the way that you're going to communicate this. But, so you're not only understanding your own logic and how that works in the world and your own clarity of voice, but you can also see that in your kingdom. This means the people around you. You can see, if this involves maybe your family, you can see how you have a child, you understand that how they communicate in this manner as well. You can just kind of understand the people around you that are also communicating clearly and why they would do that and logically. So, this could be people at work that you're seeing, just the people that are in your midst. You can kind of see, what's the word I'm looking for? Kindred spirits, in the way someone is thinking very clearly and speaking very clearly, because you're doing that right now as well. And it's your advice definitely is to do so. What is beyond your control is the Queen of Wands. So same kind of energy, but now this is about understanding passion and the motivations. You understand your own passion and motivations, but also those of the people in your kingdom. You just have this, kind of nurturing understanding, is this is why this person does this thing, is because they care deeply about X, and you understand that. You can see like that full picture. And it's beyond your control to do that, which is awesome. That's a great energy to be in. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? I hope you're trying to avoid just being a little bit disappointed. And especially in kind of the emotional realm, is kind of this feeling of dissatisfaction, and you don't really like what the universe is bringing to you. So, I hope that's something you're trying to avoid. I doubt if that's anyone's secret desire is to feel dissatisfied. So, if you're trying to avoid dissatisfaction, it could just be that mental dissatisfaction. And again, you're trying to, to be strong enough to understand what's going on around you and the people around you, and you're moving towards just a more positive way of being here, and towards the sun, which is just really, really positive light energy. In your outcome, there you go. 10 of cups. Yeah, let's not be dissatisfied. You got two of the happiest cards on the in the whole deck right here, with the sun and that 10 of cups. It's just you're moving towards just a very happy place. And if that was the goal that you're trying to achieve, you are very close to that. And if it involves giving, and if it involves moving towards more positive thinking, way and acting that is really awesome. So I do want you to also look up angel number 66, since we've got 2 6s in this reading. Let's see what's hidden from you this week, Virgo. In the bottom of the deck, what is hidden from you? Oh, that's really funny. I think the star card and the moon came out in my last reading also, which was Leo, I believe. So another card of kind of in the dark, but this is a card of direction, of being on course. This is following the stars, right? Being drawn to something and knowing and watching the signs. But this is hidden from you this week. So make sure, this clarity of direction, even though you kind of have an idea, it looks like you might need to clarify exactly what positive things you are moving towards. And I'm pointing at this card. Of course, it's out of the screen there for some reason, but what things are you moving forward to when it comes to thoughts and ways of thinking? And if you need to write those things down and make those things a goal so that you can speak very clearly, but you have to know what they are and have those things clarified to yourself first. So all right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck, as Virgo is trying to be more and more positive and use their inner strength, which is commendable. Good goals to have. Reflect on your truth. Yeah, reflect on it and let that guide you too. Like I said, if you're making, you want to make a list or goals, I know for myself, I put little things on. I have a little stand, and when I first wake up in the morning, I'm usually sleeping on that side, but I open my eyes and it's like the first things I see, and that's where I put my goals and my things that I want to work on, or the first words I want to see in the morning. To remind me to be positive, or just different things that I'm working on, think my own inner work. So if you need to remind yourself, put it on a post-it note, put it on your mirror, put it somewhere where you can see it every day to remind you to do that. So, all right, let's take a look at inner work here, or I'm sorry, not inner work, self-care. Well, it could be part of your inner work is to do some self-care, but let's get you a self-care wisdom card. What is Virgo? What do they need to be working on in the way of self-care when it comes to this week of achieving this goal of just being more positive? It looks like just being positive. Friend is the card that comes up. I love these cards. They're so pretty. Be as good a friend to yourself as you are to others. Well, isn't that something every Virgo needs to know? So, yeah, take care of you also. Again, make that list. What are the things that you're working on? And just, be good to yourself. Are you a good friend to yourself? Do you do things that are kind to yourself? I mean, most Virgos I know are very perfectionistic, very critical of themselves. Relax a little bit, get yourself to that happier place so that you can have a positive mental attitude and move forward in a way that just makes you happier on the inside. So, Virgo, I really appreciate your time here with me today. I really hope there was something you can take away and use this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what sort of changes you are making internally to get yourself in a more positive mindset and be a better friend to yourself. I do post weekly, so come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues or if there's something completely different here for us next week in the way of energy. Also, if you like my reading style, of course, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me, but most importantly, it'll help you find me next week. So thank you so much, Virgo. Good luck with all this, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.